Good morning, guys. All right, we're ready to figure out what mystery continent of the day we're going to talk about. If you remember, on Friday, we read the story Pandorella and we talked about the continent of Asia. So I have my mystery bag right here, and we're going to see if we can figure out what continent we think it's going to be. Are you ready? So the first item that we have is a maraca. We use an instrument called a maraca. The next item that we have is a rain stick. Hmm, a rain stick. I wonder where in the world do we know that it rains a lot? Hmm. And the last item we have is a beautiful parrot. It's these bright colored parrots. So I wonder where parrots live. All right, do you have an idea which continent you think it is? Let's see if you're right. We are going to be talking about the continent of South America. And so to kind of explain what some of these things are, is that in South America, they have a lot of Latin countries. They mostly speak Spanish there, and so the maraca is a very important instrument there. We have a rain stick because South America has the largest rainforest on the entire planet. They have a lot of jungles and rainforests, so we have our rain stick. And it's home to a lot of the animals that live in the rainforest, like the parrot. All right, let's learn a little bit more about South America. So South America is the fourth largest continent. So it's kind of in the middle. It's our average or our in the middle size continent. It includes only 12 countries. So even though it's a pretty good sized continent, it only has 12 countries. Angels Falls in Venezuela is the highest waterfall in the world. So it's got the highest waterfall. Most countries on the continent speak Spanish, and it is home to the largest river in the world, the Amazon River, in the Amazon rainforest. And it has many different rainforests, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. Our Cinderella story today, you'll be able to see some of those things, but when you actually listen to our book after this, that's going to be over in the rainforest, it'll show you a lot of the animals that live in the rainforest. So our Cinderella story for today is Adelita, and it's written by Tomie DePaulo. And so I want you to be looking at the different pictures in this book, because these pictures are going to show you how there's different architecture and they have different colors, because in South America they also like to have very bright colors. And so a lot of the things that they paint in their buildings, like for example, right over here, you can see purple and red and blue. You would see those outside on the outside of homes a lot. Now, this book is a little bit different because we just said in South America, they a lot of times speak Spanish. Well, this was actually supposed to happen, the story, in Mexico. So, and Mexico, as you know, is part of North America, but it kind of falls into Latin America. So that's why we're going to read this story for South America. But during it, it does have some Spanish. So it might say a couple Spanish words, since most of South America speaks Spanish, and then it'll go back and tell us what those words mean in English. So here we go. Are you ready? Hace mucho tiempo, which means a long time ago, in a village in Mexico, there lived a merchant named Francisco and his beautiful young wife, Adela. One day, Adela said, Francisco, estamos esperando un baby, which means we are going to have a baby. Adela, Francisco said, I am so happy. Then he said, we must send for Esperanza. She will come and take care of you until the baby is born, and then she will help us with the baby. Esperanza had been with the Mercado family since she was a young girl, and she had looked after Francisco when she was a baby. You can see Esperanza coming. Esperanza came right away. She took care of Adela, but after the birth of the baby, Adela was ill. She grew weaker and weaker, and shortly after, she held her little girl for the first time and the last time. Quietly, she died. Francisco was heartbroken. He named his baby daughter Adelita after Adela, her mother. Francisco was so sad for his Adela, and he missed her so greatly. But gradually, Adelita filled his heart with love. Time passed, and Adelita grew into a beautiful young woman. La Casa de la Maricosa, the Mercado house, was full of happiness. One evening, Francisco called Adelita and Esperanza to his study. My dear Adelita, my good Esperanza, los tengo nociosos. I have some news for you. I have met a charming woman I have decided to marry again. Her name is Senora Michela de la Fortuna. She is a widow and has two daughters close to your age, Adelita. I know you will like Donna Michela and her daughters, Valentina and Dulce. Adelita was happy for her father. Esperanza wasn't so sure, especially after she met Doña Micala and her daughters. Que frías son. They're cold ones, Esperanza said. Life was happy but different. Adelita had to share her father's attentions, but they still managed to have special moments together. Adelita didn't mind that Donna Michela favored her daughters even more, even though Esperanza complained. It's natural. It's natural, Adelita told her. Then suddenly her father died from an illness and everything changed. Poor Adelita was an orphan. Donna Michela had always been jealous of Adelita. Now she no longer had to hide it. She moved Adelita from her beautiful bedroom to a small room in the attic. No longer did Adelita have new dresses. She had to wear hand-me-downs. Worst of all, Valentina and Dulce were mean and hateful to her. Adelita began spending all of her time in the kitchen with Esperanza. She helped her with the meals, she listened to her stories about her father as a boy and her mother as a young bride. Because she knew that Esperanza loved her, Adelita's heart stayed warm as the fire in the hearth. One day, Donna Michela came to the kitchen and spoke to them. I am spending too much money in this household. From now on, you, Adelita, will work in the kitchen. You are here all the time anyway, and you, Esperanza, out. I want you to leave immediately. Oh, Senora de la Fortuna, please don't send me away, Esperanza pleaded. I have been with this family since I was a girl. I will work for no money, just for a place to lay my head and a bowl of beans and a tortilla. Oh, please, Mama, Adelita begged. Esperanza can share my room and my food. Out, shouted Senora Michela de la Fortuna to Esperanza. Then, in an icy voice, she spoke to Adelita, and don't you dare call me Mama again. I am Donna Michela to you. She turned and left, nose in the air. Amid tears and hugs, poor Esperanza said goodbye to Adelita and left her with meager belongings. Adelita was in despair. The days ahead held nothing but loneliness and hard work. Adelita had to prepare all the meals, clean the rooms, and fetch and carry for Valentina and Dulce, who became more like meanness and vinegar. Mi hijas, my daughters, Donna Michel said one morning as Adelita was serving breakfast. El Señor and Señora Gordilla have sent us an invitation to un fiesta, a party at their ranch, to celebrate the homecoming of their son Javier. Ooh, Mama, Valentina and Dulce twittered. And Donna Michel said with a smile, the rumor has it that he'll be looking for a wife. The daughters nearly fainted. Secretly, each one of them wanted to be the wife of Javier, and each would do anything to get to him. Donna Michela, Adelita asked as she poured the hot chocolate. May I go too? I knew Senor Javier when we were young. I would love to see him again. Are you serious? She said. Look at you, so poorly dressed with such a dirty face. I would be too embarrassed to have you in our company. You will stay here, and that is final. Adelita went back to the kitchen. The next days were busy. Adelita did not have 1 minute to herself, washing and pressing and sewing ribbons on and taking lace off at the mercy of every little whim of the sisters who tried to outdo each other. So when Donna Michela, Valentina, and Dulce left for the fiesta, Adelita went to the kitchen and sat by the fire. Suddenly, disappointment swept over her and she began to weep. She missed her father. She missed Esperanza. She missed being at the fiesta. Tap, tap, tap. She heard a soft knock at the door. Who is it? Adelita asked. Soy yo, only me. It was Esperanza. Oh, Esperanza, I have missed you so much, Adelita cried. Don't cry, mi pequeño, my little one, Esperanza said. I am here. I had a dream that Donna Michela would not let you go to the fiesta, so I have come to help you. I have borrowed a cart to take you there. But I have nothing to wear, Adelita asked. Come with me, Esperanza said. They went to the storeroom. Over there, behind those boxes, is your mother's trunk. The key is behind the crucifix. Adelita unlocked the trunk, and inside she found an old-fashioned, beautiful white dress. Under the dress was a magnificent shawl embroidered with birds and flowers. Oh, mi mamacita, my little mother, Adelita whispered. Adelita washed and dressed. Esperanza braided her hair and wound ribbons and flowers into it. Oh, Esperanza, Adelita said. Donna Michela will be furious when she sees me. Don't worry, she will never recognize you, Esperanza assured. Now, vamonos. Let's hurry. The fiesta had already begun when Adelita arrived. She walked into the room and everybody turned to look. The room fell silent. Who was the stunning young woman? Senora Cordelia went up to Adelita. Who do we have here? He asked. I'm in disguise, Adelita said with a twinkle and a sweet smile. Just call me Cinderella. Javier, everyone, Senor Cordelia said. Come, meet our new Cinderella. Javier took one look and fell in love. He danced every dance with Adelita. He brought her refreshments and he never left her side. Adelita's heart was full as well, and all the meanness she had suffered over the years began to melt. But at midnight, when Javier gave her a sweet kiss and declared his love, Adelita was frightened. How could she explain who she was? His family would never allow him to marry a kitchen maid. So Adelita ran away and found Esperanza. They hurried home. I will never forget this night as long as I live, Esperanza. Adelita said, Gracias, thank you. If you ever need me, mi hija, just call my name and somehow I will hear you, Esperanza told her. The next day, all Donna Michela and her two daughters could talk about was the mysterious Cinderella, who had appeared and then disappeared from the fiesta, just like the fairy tale. They were jealous of her beauty, and even more jealous because they knew that Javier had fallen in love with her. I'm glad no one knows who she is, Valentina said. Or where she is, Dulce said. And no glass slipper, Donna Michela added. Javier had told someone that he would not rest until he found her. He is coming to town this very day, Donna Michela announced. He will stop at every house and look for her. This is our chance to show once more what charms you have, my daughters. So prepare yourselves. Who knows? Maybe one of you will make him forget about Cinderella. Adelita, they screamed, come help us quickly. I will be right there, Adelita answered. But before she went to Valentina and Dulce, she ran to her attic and hung her mother's rebosa, or her shawl, out the window. So you can see the shawl right out the window. She helped the two sisters dress, then she went back to her room and shyly peeked out the window. Soon she saw Javier coming down the street on his horse. Suddenly he saw the shawl. He jumped down and ran to the door and knocked. Senor Michela de la Fortuna opened the door. Ah, Senor Javier. Please come in, she said. Senora, where is she? I know my love is here, Javier said. Do you mean one of my daughters? Donna Michela said. Valentina, Dulce, come here. Senor Javier would like to see you. The sisters appeared in the doorway, giggling foolishly. Buenos dias. Good day, Senor Javier, they chimed in unison. Do you remember us? Are you looking for us? Yes, ladies, I remember you, Javier answered, but it's another that I'm looking for. There's no one else here, Donna Michela said. Yes, there is, a voice said. Are you looking for me, senor? There was Adelita standing at the top of the stairs in her mother's dress and shawl. My Cinderella, Javier said. Who? What? What's going on? Donna Michela said, while Valentino and Dulce looked at Adelita in astonishment. It's only Adelita, Donna Michela. Adelita said as she came down the stairs. Only Adelita. Who are you? Javier asked. I am Adelita Mercado Martinez. We knew each other when we were children. Oh, Adelita, of course. I remember you as a little girl, Javier gasped. I am so happy to have found you again. He smiled. I have come to ask my Cinderella to marry me. Will you? I am an orphan, Senor Javier, Adelita said. Perhaps you should ask Donna Michela if she'll give you permission. Will you, Senora? Javier asked. Why, I don't know. I don't know what, I mean, well, of course. We shall be honored, Senor Javier, Donna Michela said. Valentina and Dulce glared at Adelita. Then it will be, Javier said, taking Adelita's hand in his. In her sweetness, Adelita invited Senor Michela de la Fortuna Mercado and her daughters, Valentina and Dulce, to the wedding. Of course, Esperanza was there too. She was going to take care of Javier and Adelita just as she had done before. And just like Cinderella and the prince, we shall live happily ever after too, Javier said. And they did. All right, so guys, this story was a lot like Cinderella, and actually they knew the Cinderella fairy tale in it. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go ahead and connect the seesaw, and you are going to tell me some of the differences and some of the ways that the stories are the same. Okay, and be thinking about what the story looked like. What colors were on the pages? Did they talk differently than the other people in the stories? Did they have the same story? Was the characters the same? So you're going to go in and you're going to finish comparing and contrasting and then submit your work. All right, guys, thanks for listening.